Hello from the holy city of Jerusalem. My name is Daniel, and I'm a Christian tour guide who believes that guiding in the Holy Land is a mission and not a job. Through our tours, we bring the Bible alive by walking in the footsteps of Jesus Christ. Whether in the Via Dolorosa, in the Old City, or at the Mount of Olives, where Jesus was arrested, wept on Jerusalem, and ascended to heaven 40 days after his resurrection. Today, we are on the top of Mount of Olives, and I will explain to you the last week of Jesus' life before he was crucified. Jesus came from Sea of Galilee, walking all the way on the west bank of the Jordan River, passing through Jericho, Bethany, and Mount of Olives until he reached Jerusalem, where he entered the Golden Gate riding a donkey to fulfill a prophecy.
Rejoice, rejoice, people of Zion. Shout for joy, you people of Jerusalem. Look, your king is coming to you. He comes triumphant and victorious, but humble and riding on a donkey.
It was believed that the Messiah will enter Jerusalem from the Gate of Mercy, the East Golden Gate, and after he enters, the gate will be closed until the end of the days. The gate is closed until our days.
The gate was closed, and the Lord said to me, "This gate will stay closed and will never be opened. No human being is allowed to use it, because I, the Lord, God of Israel, have entered through it. It is to remain closed."
Jesus spent a few days in Jerusalem and then celebrated Passover with his disciples through what we call the Last Supper in Mount Zion. He then walked down to the Gethsemane in Mount of Olives, passing the Kidron Valley, where he prayed for the last time before he was arrested. Jesus was taken to Caiaphas' house, where he was condemned by the Sanhedrin and imprisoned there at the dungeon. In the early morning, he was taken to Antonius' fortress, where he was condemned again by Pontius Pilatus to be crucified. Now comes a very important part of Jesus' pains before he was crucified. We are now at the Via Dolorosa, where Jesus was forced to walk carrying his cross through 14 stations until the Golgotha, where he was crucified. We will stop at those stations one by one. Station number 1, where Jesus was condemned by Pontius Pilatus. In order to remain a friend of Caesar, Pilatus delivers Jesus into the hands of his enemies. Now it is a Muslim school called Al-Amariya. Station number 2, where Jesus was whipped, crowned with thorns, and forced to carry the cross on which he will die. Now it is called the Flagellation Church. Station number 3, where Jesus fell down for the first time. The weight is unbearable. Jesus falls under it. He lays on the ground and knows the experience of weakness beneath unfair burdens. Station number 4, Jesus' path takes him to a powerful source of his strength to continue. He meets Mary, his mother. They look into each other's eyes. She blesses his mission, a very sad moment for a mother to see her son walking to his death. Station number 5, where Simon of Cyrene was compelled by the Romans to carry the cross of Jesus of Nazareth. As Jesus was taken to his crucifixion, they found a man of Cyrene, Simon by name. Him they compelled to bear his cross.
On the way, they met a man named Simon, who was coming into the city from the country, and the soldiers forced him to carry Jesus' cross. Simon was from Cyrene and was the father of Alexander and Rufus.
Station number 6. According to church tradition, Veronica was moved with sympathy when she saw Jesus carrying his cross to Golgotha and gave him her veil to wipe his forehead. Jesus accepted the offering, held it to his face, and then handed it back to her. The image of his face miraculously impressed upon it. This piece of cloth became known as the veil of Veronica. Station number 7. Jesus fell down for the second time before he was kicked outside the city to be crucified at a place called the Golgotha. Station number 8. Jesus meets the women of Jerusalem who weep for him and tell them, "Daughters of Jerusalem, don't weep for me, but weep for yourselves and for your children."
Jesus turned to them and said, "Women of Jerusalem, don't cry for me, but for yourselves and your children. For the days are coming when people will say, 'How lucky are the women who never had children, who never bore babies, who never nursed them.'"
Station number 9, where Jesus fell down for the third time. Station number 10. Jesus was stripped of his garments by the Roman soldiers, and they divided his garments among them by casting lots. Station number 11. Stripped of his garments, Jesus is violently thrown down on the cross. His hands, his feet are nailed to it in the most cruel way. Station number 12. Jesus crucified hangs on the cross for 3 endless hours between 2 criminals.
There they crucified him, and they also crucified 2 other men, one on each side, with Jesus between them.
Station number 13. Jesus is taken down from the cross and placed in his mother's bosom. Station number 14. Jesus' body is taken to his grave. The grave was offered by Joseph of Arimathea, since there was no time to look for a proper burial place, and after 3 days, he resurrected to heaven.
Pilate gave orders for the body to be given to Joseph. So Joseph took it, wrapped it in a new linen sheet, and placed it in his own tomb, which he had just recently dug out of solid rock.
That was a small brief tour that shows us the last few days of Jesus' life. By walking the Via Dolorosa, we understand and believe the pain and suffering Jesus went through to redeem and rescue humanity. In him, we have redemption through his blood, the forgiveness of sins according to the riches of his grace. Thank you, and hope to see you in the Holy Land to live this amazing experience.